Hello friends, welcome to Political Science and International Relations. In this lecture, we are going to study the liberal theory of state. Within the larger concept theory of state. Studying the liberal theory of state is very important for a student of political science. There are many theories of states. Divine theory of state, organic theory of state, feminist theory of state, Marxist theory of state, post-colonial theory, pluralist theory. So we have many theories, out of which liberal theory is one theory. But liberal theory is very important in political science because it gives many insights into the concept of state. Liberal theory itself is a product of the evolution of political philosophy from ancient period towards modern period. In the ancient period, divine theory and organic theory were the predominant theories of state. As we move from ancient period to modern period, the liberal theory emerged. Today, most of the modern states in the world are liberal states. The predominant political institution seen in the world today is liberal democracy. So liberal state is the dominant form of state seen today across the world. The institution associated with the liberal state is liberal democracy. India, our country itself, is a liberal democracy. Most of the European states are liberal democracies. The North American states like US, Canada are liberal democracies. Many states in Africa, Asia and Latin America are liberal democracy. So today, liberalism and the associated liberal theory has contributed greatly to political science. It is manifested in the form of existence of many liberal states and the institution liberal democracy. That's why we have to study the liberal theory of state. Before proceeding further, let's briefly look into the concept of theory as well as state. This will help us understand the liberal theory of state better. Okay, what is theory? Theory in general terms is a set of ideas, opinions or views about reality. This is theory in general terms. Now, political science also has theory. It is called political theory. In political science, there are two important aspects. One is political philosophy and the other is political theory. Some scholars give more importance to political philosophy, some give more importance to political theory. In the ancient period, the scholars, especially the ancient Greek scholars, they were giving more importance to philosophy. Later, theory was given more importance. Plato, the ancient Greek philosopher, he was seen as a father of political philosophy as well as theory. He reconciled philosophy and theory. Aristotle, the father of political science, he took political science to the next level. He studied politics as a science. So this is how political science evolved right from ancient period. Political philosophy is about the concepts, ideas, norms, values in political science. As already said, political science actually emerged later. Earlier it was only political philosophy. Political philosophy asks questions about politics. For example, what is democracy? If you ask this question, then you are engaged in political philosophy. What is the need of a state? If you ask this question, you are engaged in political philosophy. What if there is no state? Even here you are engaging in political philosophy. Why should women be given equal rights as men? You are engaging in political philosophy. Got it? So this is the philosophy part. It is about the thought process. It is about asking questions. It is about answering. It is about debating. Now, political theory is a framework. Political theory actually studies how the concepts, values, and ideas are related and apply with respect to political behavior, political thought of people, political institutions, as well as power. So this framework is called political theory. It studies political philosophy and its application with respect to the behavior, thought, institutions, and power. It looks into the interplay of all these factors. For example, if you take the concept democracy and find out how the concept of democracy applies in the institutions, then you are now engaged in political theory. If you take into account the idea of equality and if you study how the idea of equality is actually applying with respect to political thought and behavior of people, you are now engaged in political theory. Got it? Next, concept of state. Okay, what is state? State in simple terms is a political unit. It is also a geographical unit or physical unit. How do you see a state? It is a political unit. It is a unit of governance, we can say. It is also a geographical unit. But more important is political. So, state today means country. India is a state. Pakistan is a state. US is a state. UK is a state. Mongolia is a state. Peru is a state. Chile is a state. Argentina is a state. Singapore is a state. Got it? State is identified through some important conditions or characteristics. So, this is a broad understanding of the state today. These are the important characteristics. One is territory. Territory is a geographical space that belongs to the state. It comes under the control of the state. So this is territory. For example, our country India has its own territory. It's a territory of India. Right? This is geographical space. Second is sovereignty. Sovereignty is the independence of the state to govern itself, administer itself, decide its own affairs without any external influence, threat, or any pressure. This is called sovereignty. The third condition is government. State is the concept or the idea. Government is the actual apparatus or the body which runs the state. Got it? So government is a part of the state. Governments may be of many types. Democracy, monarchy. It may even be formed by military rulers, but it doesn't matter. There should be an apparatus which runs the state, which upholds the sovereignty of the state. This is called government. The last condition is population or the people. Each state has its own population, which are called citizens. The citizens enjoy some important rights from the state. The state takes a responsibility for the protection of its citizens. So these are the four important conditions by which you can broadly classify a state. Got it? In fact, this is the liberal understanding of the state. Liberals, people supporting liberalism and the liberal theory of state take these four parameters to identify a state. When it comes to political science, state is the basic unit. There are other units as well, but this is taken as a basic unit for studying politics. The basic unit of the human body is cell, is it not? Similarly, the basic unit in political science is the state. Today you may come across developments at the international level. India has good relations with some countries, it has poor relations with some countries. But how do you look at these relations? You look at these relations through the concept state. India as state interacts with other units which are also states. Got it? Okay friends, now let's study the liberal theory of state. Liberal theory of state is a framework, as already told. Now, liberal theory is associated with the philosophy and ideology called liberalism. Okay, so liberalism is a political philosophy and ideology, right? It is applied to the institution which is the state. When the philosophy liberalism is applied with the institution state, it becomes a liberal state. As already studied, theory studies the relationship, interplay between philosophy, which contains idea, concepts and values, with respect to institutions, power, behavior and so on, right? So this is a relationship between liberalism and the state, which is the liberal state. Now let's have some insights into liberalism so that we can understand the liberal state better. Okay, coming to liberalism. Liberalism as an ideology emerged around the 19th century. Liberalism emerged as an important ideology. But liberalism itself was influenced by the development, enlightenment, which happened in 17th and 18th centuries in Europe. So enlightenment was a development, it was a transformation of the society in Europe. So enlightenment was influencing liberalism. Before enlightenment, the political philosophy in the West as well as in the East, it is dominated by other theories, especially divine theory of state and organic theory of state. Let's look into them briefly. Let's not drill into them in detail right now. We will discuss them in detail separately. If you take divine theory is related to God. It is also related to state. Okay. Manu and his work Manu Smriti, ancient political work in India. It is said that there are many Manus, not a single Manu. In any case, Manu Smriti was a political philosophy as well as a work. It is a very important work. Manu Smriti tells that the state itself is a manifestation of God. So state, the country, the political unit which has power to rule the people is nothing but a manifestation of God on earth. So when you see the ruler, when you see the king, you are actually seeing God. You have to obey the ruler because he is none but a representative of God on earth. Okay. So divine theory sees the ruler as divinely ordained to rule. Divinely ordained means he was sent by God to rule on earth. So when you see the king, you are actually seeing the God. Okay. So Manu's philosophy is related to the divine theory. Divine theory also existed in the West. For example, the Israelites, these people lived in West Asia in the ancient past. They had kingdoms. Israel, kingdom, Judah. So these rulers also claimed that their rulers were actually divinely ordained to rule on earth. Even in modern period, some philosophers, they have advocated the divine theory. For example, Hegel, the German philosopher, he held the view that state is march of God on earth. So Hegel saw the state, the political unit having power, as a march of God on earth. So what was he meaning? He was telling that the state itself should be respected. It deserves respect. You are supposed to respect the state. Okay, you should obey the state. So this is called the divine theory. Other theory was the organic theory. Organic theory was not based on divine principle, but the organic theory was seeing the individuals as a part and parcel of the state. This is the organic theory. Organic theory saw the state as an organism. So state is a larger entity. It is seen as an organism under which individuals are living. The individuals are compared to organs. Okay, you and I are human beings. We are organisms, is it not? We have a body, physical body. So physical body is nothing but organisms. Within organism, we have many parts: heart, kidney, brain, and so on, limbs, blood. Similarly, the state is compared to organism, and the people, the citizens, are compared to the organs. The organic theory tells that the citizens are a part and parcel of the state. They don't have a separate existence outside the state. If the state is gone, they are also gone. If you remove the organs from the body, they are of no use. Similarly, the individuals cannot exist without the state. This is the organic theory. It is put forward by ancient Greek philosophers, starting from Plato and Aristotle. Plato and Aristotle wanted the individual to be subservient to the state. He has to fulfill some duties to the state. So, what is first? The state is first. Organic theory says state is prior to man. Okay. Plato told that different classes in Greek society should fulfill their duties. It was somewhat similar to the Varna theory seen in India during the ancient period. Okay. Plato told that the state should be ruled by philosophers, kings, who are actually highly knowledgeable persons. The state should be protected by warriors who have courage. And the workers should produce in the state. So each class of society does duties to ensure their obligations to the state. Without the state, they don't have separate existence. Got it? So we have just looked into the divine theory and organic theory. So political philosophy starting from ancient period was giving more importance to the state than the individual. Am I correct? State was given more importance. Individual was within the state. In Europe, slavery was accepted as normal. The master who was controlling the slave, he was actually treating the slave like a property. But such system was also accepted earlier. the society in Europe during the medieval period was very backward. It was feudal in nature. Feudalism was the nature of the society. The European society was having many superstitions. You are able to see the divine theory is still playing out in Europe. The church was having great power. It used to control even the king. King will follow the rules or the guidelines given by the church. Apart from this, the European society did not go for modern thought. Modern thought was not present, it was discouraged. Modern thought refers to progressive thoughts, ideas like equality, freedom, fraternity, scientific temper, rule of law, and so on. So, this period in Europe was referred to as the Dark Age. It is surprising to note that the highly developed countries of Europe were very backward centuries ago. Only later they became modern. From the Dark Age, slowly transformation happened in Europe. Changes were coming to Europe. One such important transformation was the Renaissance, the period called Renaissance, which was observed roughly around the 14th century. So what is Renaissance? Renaissance is more of a mental change within people. Okay? It was not of a physical change, it is a mental change. The European society was transforming with respect to ideas, with respect to thought, with respect to acceptance of values, with respect to interpretation of reality. Okay, Renaissance was making use of arts, culture to go for transformation. Italy was very important at that time for Renaissance. Through Renaissance, the people were rediscovering themselves. Okay, what is rediscovering? They were trying to find out who they were, what was their culture, what were they made of, okay, what were their values, what made them, where they are. So the Renaissance was leading to a very important concept called humanism. Humanism, human being was given importance. Earlier, human was not considered important. He was just seen as a means to an end. Is it not? Divine theory, organic theory saw the individual or the human as a part of the state. Even slavery was accepted. So humans were seen as a means to an end and not an end in themselves. From Renaissance, humanism was given importance. The concept of man was given importance. After Renaissance, a very important transformation occurred. It was called the Enlightenment. There is no exact time period. These are rough time period. Enlightenment can be traced back to 17th and 18th century. The Enlightenment happened more or less in conjunction with the scientific revolution. Science was embraced in Europe. Slowly superstitions went away. The people developed scientific temper. They started discovering, they started inventing. Okay, now coming to Enlightenment. The gate was already opened by Renaissance. Now the gates have to be opened further. This was done by Enlightenment. Enlightenment gave importance to humanism once again. Apart from this, Enlightenment told people to go for reason and knowledge. So man should think. He should not just take what others tell them. He should think. He is a thinking animal. He is a developed animal. He should go for knowledge. So reason and knowledge were seen as very important values desirable for man in the period called Enlightenment. Through reason and knowledge, man should develop himself, he should empower himself, and he can also attain happiness. See, happiness value was also seen as an important virtue. So it is okay to be happy, it is okay to go for luxury or pleasure, provided you do it through reason and knowledge. These values were given by enlightenment. Enlightenment also spoke about the importance of liberty of man. Man should be free. He should not be under slavery or other forms of control, both physical and mental. So, enlightenment was a drastic transformation in the society of Europe. Enlightenment now led to a very important ideology, development of ideology called liberalism. Enlightenment contributing to liberalism. Liberalism emerged as a major political philosophy and ideology in the 19th century. Enlightenment also contributed to socialism, which we will study separately. So both philosophies derived from Enlightenment, but liberalism owes much to Enlightenment. Okay. Now what is liberalism? The word liberalism contains the word liberal. Liberal is related to these meanings: free, not restrained, liberty, and so on. So liberalism was talking about the freedom of man. It was talking about the autonomy of man. It was telling why man should be free. Okay, so this is basically liberalism. Liberalism tells that man is capable of reasoning. He is a conscious being. He is capable of reasoning. He is conscious. So liberalism supports liberty for the man. It also supports equality. Okay, equality here is a contested concept. Different scholars looked at equality differently, but overall it was accepting equality. Liberalism accepted that human beings are equal with respect to each other. Okay, now coming to liberal theory of state. Liberalism as a philosophy, when applied to the institution called state, is actually the liberal theory of state. Liberalism, when applied to the institution state, it becomes the liberal state. The theory is called liberal theory. Theory is called liberal theory. The state is called liberal state. The associated institution is called liberal democracy. Okay. Now let's see how liberalism emerged as an important idea and how liberal states emerged after 19th century. Now liberalism and liberal states did not suddenly emerge in 19th century. Many scholars, political philosophers contributed to liberalism as well as liberal theory many centuries ago. One very important scholar was Thomas Hobbes, English scholar. English scholars and French scholars mainly contributed to liberalism. Thomas Hobbes was a major scholar who opened the gates of liberalism. Before Thomas Hobbes, political philosophy and political theory was giving more importance to the state. We already discussed this. Plato and Aristotle were giving ultimate importance to the state. They want the state to be ruled properly. They supported a philosophical ruler who has knowledge. A knowledgeable ruler should rule the state, and individuals are supposed to perform duties within the state. When you see such a system, the highest happiness can be attained in the state. This is how Plato and Aristotle looked at the concept of state. They gave importance to the virtue called justice. Virtue is something which is desirable, which is needed, which is highly essential. Plato and Aristotle spoke about different virtues. Let's not drill in depth into this now. I have separately made a video for Plato. You can go through that video. Plato and Aristotle saw justice as the most important virtue. So what do you understand? During ancient period, political philosophy was giving importance to state. It saw justice as a major virtue. Justice has to be achieved in order to obtain highest happiness or the greatest happiness. The highest happiness was called eudaimonia. Eudaimonia at the time of the Greek states during the ancient period. Now, everything was looked into from the state perspective, from the ruler perspective, and not from the citizen's perspective. The ruler was important. The state was important. The individuals were seen under the system. They have to fulfill the duties. Liberty of the individuals were not given importance. So justice was the major virtue of ancient Greek philosophy, and it also followed through the medieval period. Now, who is drastically bringing a change? It was Thomas Hobbes. Okay. As you travel from Plato towards Hobbes, you will find that political philosophy and political science underwent a great change. When Plato was giving importance to state and virtue, Hobbes was giving importance to the liberty of man. Who was seen here? Man was seen here. In fact, Hobbes also gave importance to the ruler, but he was the landmark in political science as we move from ancient to modern period. From virtue, we started moving towards liberty. From state, we started moving towards individual. So a sea-level change happened in political philosophy, political theory, as well as political science. So this was largely a result of Thomas Hobbes' philosophy. Thomas Hobbes, along with two other scholars, they were called the natural rights theorists as well as social contract theorists. We will now study natural rights as well as social contract. Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, these two scholars were from England. J.J. Rousseau, French scholar. These three scholars contributed to the social contract theory. Social contract theory is a very important concept or foundation for the liberal theory of state. So keep in mind, liberal theory of state itself owes to the social contract theory. These were the three important scholars. These three scholars, Hobbes, Locke and Rousseau, oppose the divine theory. They are not happy with the divine theory. Okay. So they were transforming political philosophy drastically during the modern period. Got it? Thomas Hobbes, Locke and Rousseau, speaking about the social contract theory, also gave insight about the concept natural rights. and the concept state of nature. These two are associated with social contract. Okay. Now let's study the conception of the social contract theorist with respect to liberalism. Okay. They did not call their philosophy as liberalism, but they contributed to liberalism greatly, as well as a liberal theory of state through the state of nature as well as social contract. We will now study the state of nature and social contract so that we can understand the liberal theory of state better. It was Thomas Hobbes who first spoke about the state of nature and the social contract. Hobbes was referring to a society, initial society. This society had individuals. What is society? Group of people living in a particular region who are related to each other, share some common values or culture. This is called society. Politics itself is seen through the broader concept of society. Okay. Now, Hobbes calls this society or the group of people living as state of nature. What is this called? State of nature. We can say that this was a nascent society, infant society, yet to be evolved society. Okay, state of nature. In the state of nature, the individuals living are equal to each other. This man A is equal to man B is equal to C, man C is equal to D. A, B, C, D are equal to each other. Okay? They are also free. They are free. At the same time, they are having the ability to enforce power. I am free, I am equal with respect to another man. Now naturally, what will I do? I will have power in my hands. I will try to achieve what I want. Am I right? As such, each man in the state of nature will try to enforce his will on the other. Okay. He may enforce practically or may not enforce. But there are chances of individuals trying to enforce their will on others. They may injure others, they may harm others, they may even destroy others. Such is the state of nature. Got it? In simple terms, Hobbes was seeing these individuals as selfish creatures who may not hesitate to use violence against others to achieve their interests. So Hobbes was having a rather negative understanding of human beings. He was seeing human beings as negative. He thought that they were not capable of living peacefully with each other. In the state of nature, there is always danger. So he tells that in the state of nature, life is short, nasty, brutish. These are some words used by Hobbes to describe the state of nature. As you can see, he has a greatly negative opinion of the state of nature. Life itself will be short because there is no guarantee that you will live. Another person may attack you. He may kill you. Life is nasty. It is brutish. It has violence. Okay. Now, in the state of nature, people are living like this. Now, slowly they are evolving. They are reaching another state. How they are reaching? From the state of nature, the people are signing something called social contract. social contract. Contract is nothing but an agreement among the people. Keep in mind, this is not a official or objective contract. It is only a hypothetical contract. Hobbes is assuming that the people in the state of nature will naturally, gradually, inevitably go for such an agreement between themselves, which is called the social contract. So they are signing social contract. With the signing of social contract, the institution called state is emerging. Okay, this is state. Now, as part of the state, you also see another institution called the ruler. In those times, the ruler was generally the monarch or the king, single ruler who used to rule the state. So this is how state comes into existence, from the state of nature through the process called social contract. When the social contract is signed, the state is established. As a result, order is coming in the society. Earlier, order was not present. Am I correct? State of nature was violent. Human beings were selfish. They were capable of destroying each other, harming each other, injuring each other. There was no guarantee of a safe life. But with the coming of a state, order is established. Okay? The state provides security. Let's not go further into security, because different scholars have different views about security. Now, the ruler starts to wield power. Okay? So earlier the power was in the hands of the people. Now the power is in the hands of the ruler. So this is the idea of Thomas Hobbes. Even though Thomas Hobbes was not giving complete liberty to the citizens in the state, he was actually contributing greatly to liberalism. Why? Earlier, the most important value was virtue seen through the state. Now, who is given importance? Individual is given importance. Now, where did the state start? State started from individual. It was the individual who created the state. Okay? So, according to liberal theory, individual is prior to man. Individual is prior to man. See? Is this not a great transformation in political science? In the earlier period, the divine theory and organic theory were predominating. Divine theory and organic theory held the view that state is prior to man. But liberal theory, contributed by the natural rights and social contract, tells that individual is prior to man. It is the individuals who are creating the state and not the other way around. Okay? When you look at the view of Thomas Hobbes, he is favoring the ruler. He is giving more power to the ruler, but yet he has opened the gates of liberalism. He has recognized the individual. He is recognizing the existence of the individual, but yet he wants the individuals to obey the ruler. Okay. Now coming to John Locke. John Locke is the most important man for liberalism. He is seen as the father of liberalism. John Locke. John Locke was also a British philosopher. Compared to Hobbes, John Locke's view of human nature is positive. He has a good view of human nature. He also speaks about the state of nature, but he did not see the state of nature as short, brutish and so on, as Hobbes saw. But he saw the state of nature as a positive concept. He told that people were having equality and liberty in the state of nature. He was saying the same as Hobbes. But Locke told that the people need not always be selfish creatures. They are capable of living in solidarity. John Locke therefore has a positive view of humans. He says that in the state of nature, freedom is present, freedom or liberty is present, but the freedom or liberty is actually connected with reason. People are able to reason, they can think, as a result, they have freedom. So they will think and they exercise the freedom. So this is how he connects freedom with reason in the state of nature. But Hobbes was looking at human beings as greatly selfish and power maximizers. Apart from this, Locke tells that the state of nature is a state of orderly social interaction. This is very important. Orderly social interaction. What is orderly social interaction? The individuals are capable of working with each other. They are capable of cooperating with each other. They are not that animalist and selfish to harm each other or injure each other. Once again, he is having a positive view of human nature. Apart from this, Locke also talks about political power. We studied Hobbes. Hobbes told that the ruler later emerges to rule the people as part of the state. Am I correct? But Hobbes was telling that the ruler has political power in the state. Political power. Political power in the state is exercised by the ruler. What is political power? Political power is the power to execute law. Okay, to enforce law. But political power, according to Hobbes, is seen with respect to ruler only and not with respect to people in the state of nature. Here, people are not having political power according to Hobbes. Here, political power is different from individual power. One can even harm or kill the other. This is not political power. Political power is the ability to take actions collectively. But this political power is in the hands of only the ruler according to Hobbes. But John Locke actually has a different view. He once again has a positive view of human nature. He tells that political power is already present in the hands of the people in the state of nature. Later, the political power is transferred by the people to the state. See, he is very progressive compared to Hobbes. He is seeing people as rational creatures, creatures who are capable of understanding, interaction, and cooperation. So Hobbes and Locke are the two important scholars who contributed to liberalism and the liberal theory of state. Locke is called the father of liberalism. J.J. Rousseau also spoke of the social contract. He told that the social contract is related to a concept called general will. General will. Like Locke, he also has a positive view of human nature. Okay? General will is nothing but the collective will of all the people in the society. The state is present, but the authority in the hands of the state is nothing but the collective power given by the people. So this is how state runs the government. This is how people look at the state. Got it? Okay, friends. So this is how the concept liberalism is contributing to the liberal theory of state. Okay. When we look into the liberal theory of state, there are certain distinct features. A student of political science should study this. Liberal theory tells that the individual should be protected by the state. The major duty of the state is to protect the individual. John Locke tells that the duty of the state is to protect the life, liberty and private property of the citizens. Please note down. Life, liberty and private property. Private property here does not refer only to land, houses and other luxuries. Even basic goods necessary for human existence come under private property. Okay, so liberals see state as a protector of the people. Liberals generally don't want state to intervene in the lives of people. Okay, intervention not desirable, only protection is desirable. You able to understand? This is how John Locke views that state. The Enlightenment also influenced the freedom struggle of America. It was called American Enlightenment. Enlightenment basically related to Europe, but there is a version in America called American Enlightenment. American Enlightenment also accepted many of the views of liberalism. American Enlightenment helped the American War of Independence. The two presidents of America, Madison and Jefferson, they contributed to American liberalism. When you look at American liberalism, philosophy and theory were related to the independence of America as a state from the British Empire. So when you look into the North American context, once again, liberalism is a very important philosophy. The American state, seen as a liberal state, once again is influenced by the concept liberalism. Okay. Madison and Jefferson, they also spoke about the state. They also wanted state to protect the individual. They also tell that state should protect the life, liberty, but they don't accept private property as an important concept. Instead of private property, they advocate pursuit of happiness. So British liberals gave importance to private property. American liberals did not give importance to private property. They gave importance to pursuit of happiness. Got it? So life, liberty and pursuit of happiness were the important ideals of American liberalism. The French liberalism, as a result of French Revolution, this was also influenced by Enlightenment. According to the French Revolution, liberty was a very important value. Not just liberty, the three important values of French Revolution were equality, liberty and fraternity. Okay. So you see liberalism in the British context, you see liberalism in the US context, you see liberalism in the French context. So the three states were talking about many values, but you are able to see a very important common value. What is it? It is liberalism. It is liberty. Okay, freedom of the individual is a common value in UK, US as well as France. Liberalism supports these values under the philosophy and the ideology. Liberalism first supports the basic principle liberty. After all, liberalism itself is based on liberty. It also supports rights. Thirdly, it supports consent of the governed. Note it down, this is very important. What is consent of the governed? The people should be governed by the state, but the people themselves should give the consent. Consent means permission. We already studied this in social contract. How did Locke look at the social contract? John Locke told that the social contract was a voluntary decision taken by the people to establish the state. They were already conscious, they were having freedom and reason, so they are consciously giving the permission to establish the state. So consent is very important. Thirdly, liberalism supports the rule of law. It also supports equality before law. So these are the important values within liberalism: liberty, rights, consent, rule of law and equality before law. But if you look at the economic aspect of liberalism, something is very controversial. These are the political values. Liberalism seen as a political philosophy. We are now looking at the political values. But what about the economic values? If you look at the economic values, liberalism is happy with political equality. Political equality. Why? It is accepting these values: liberty, rights, consent, rule of law, equality before law. It is happy with political equality. Everybody is same politically. Everybody is same with respect to power. We are all equal under the state. Nobody is inferior or superior compared to another. So they accept political equality, but they do not accept economic equality. Economic equality is not desirable according to liberalism. Later, liberals started accepting economic equality to a certain degree, but in principle, liberalism is against economic equality. It supports only political equality. Okay, so economic equality is not accepted. Now, economic inequality is seen in liberalism. The associated institution is called capitalism. Now, how do you look at this through institution? Capitalism as a philosophy as well as an institution is associated with liberalism. So, through capitalism, you are able to see economic inequality in liberalism. Political equality accepted, but economic inequality accepted. Capitalism is a philosophy accepted by liberalism. Capitalism refers to the economic situation where state does not play a role in the economy, it does not control the economy. The private sector plays a major role, market plays a major role. Market is everything in capitalism. The forces of supply and demand decide everything. So inequality is accepted. Capitalism tells that everybody should be given the political opportunity to become unequal. Based on my talent, skill and hard work, I can earn as much money as I want. So economic inequality is desirable and accepted according to liberalism. If a man is talented, if he has skills, if he is ready to put in hard work, he should be allowed to earn money and accrue private wealth or private property. This is accepted by liberalism. They won't accept economic equality. Socialists and Marxists support economic equality. But liberals will tell that economic equality is not correct. The state should not try to bring in economic equality because it does not motivate. It is against merit. If the state ensures economic equality, then people will not try to develop their talents and skills. They may not work hard. As a result, there will be economic inefficiency in the economy. Got it? So, liberals support capitalism. This is the institution and the philosophy associated with liberalism economically. Politically, the concept, the philosophy and institution associated with liberalism is democracy. Democracy provides political equality. So it is accepted, this is accepted by liberalism. Able to follow? So this is how you dissect liberalism politically and economically. Democracy is accepted politically, capitalism is accepted economically. Liberalism philosophy ideology is influenced by classical school of economics. Classical school of economics argues for capitalism. Adam Smith, the most important economist, is seen as the father, we can say. His book Wealth of Nations, written in 1776, is perhaps the first economic book of the world. Organized economic book. Okay. So this is how you look at the concept liberalism and the liberal theory of the state. So when you see a liberal state, how do you see the liberal state? Because the liberal state is nothing but a derivation of the philosophy liberalism. This is how liberal state will look like. UK, Japan, US, Germany, and so on are liberal state. You will see democracy, you will see capitalism. You will see political equality, but not economic equality. Okay? So these states are called liberal democracies. Liberal state is an institution. Okay, another institution associated institution is liberal democracy. Right? So if you are seeing a liberal state, it is actually a liberal democracy, having democracy as well as capitalism. Our country, India, is also a liberal democracy. But you will see many variations in liberal democracies around the world. Even though they can be classified under the larger concept liberal theory of state, some liberal states may have some features of socialism also. For example, India. Our economy is not pure capitalist economy, but a mixture of capitalism and socialism. The resultant system is called mixed economy. Okay. So we will discuss regarding this in detail further. Let's not drill further in this session itself. So some liberals, they have gone for modification of their philosophy. They have accepted some principles of socialism, not all principles, some principles of socialism. They are called social liberals. Liberals only. They accept the principles of liberalism, but they are able to go for practical modification of their philosophies to accept some features of socialism and make liberalism more inclusive. They want even poor people to be supported under liberalism as a model of state. So they go for mixed economy. Okay. Social liberals go for systems such as social democracy, democratic socialism, and some other models. These are nothing but liberalism modified. Liberalism taking some elements of socialism. When some features of socialism are accepted by liberalism, another institution emerges within the liberal model. It is called welfare state. Welfare state is an institution as well as philosophy obtained by the liberal state. How it is obtaining? Within the liberal state, when you look at the economic dimension, some features of capitalism have been added along with capitalism. India is an example of welfare state. Okay. Once again, welfare states differ by degree. Okay. When you look at the degree of capitalism and socialism, it is not standard. It may differ in each country. Welfare states take care of the people. Welfare state concept is even seen in countries such as UK, Japan, US, and Germany, which are actually capitalist states. They are capitalist but not 100% capitalist because they have accepted some features of socialism. As a result, they go for the concept of welfare state. If you take America, even America runs government schools called public schools. America provides great subsidies to its farmers. Some sectors are nationalized even in America. So what do you understand? Some features of socialism seen in the liberal theory of state. Am I correct? It is leading to welfare state. So welfare state is a concept embedded within the liberal state. So how do you look at US today? It is a liberal state, liberal democracy. It has embedded the concept of welfare state within itself. Okay friends, we will end the session with this. I hope this session has been helpful to you. Thank you very much.